Bureau. Thank you for joining us. Terrific interview with the Treasury Secretary. Now, well, should we as taxpayers spend $25 billion to save these two publicly traded companies, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac? My next guest says absolutely not. Congressman Scott Garrett joins me now from Capitol Hill. Congressman, tell us, what are the taxpayers who responsibly paid their mortgage, going to get out of this bill?
They get absolutely nothing out of this bill. Just as we've been saying all along, that the underlying bill, remember, has this huge bailout for people who made wrong decisions and the banks who lend those dollars to them. That portion of the bill is bad in the first place because it says to you, if you were the prudent person, purchased a house that you could afford or didn't go into the market when you should have in the first place, you're going to be penalized, while the guy across the street from you who made all the wrong decisions, he gets the benefit. And added on top of that, of course, is what Secretary Paulson is going to do here with their bailout system here, which totally puts the taxpayer on the hook as well. It's a bad bill. I wish it wasn't moving. It is. I hope people vote against it, though.
Well, how come no one is listening to you in Washington then, Congressman?
Well, one of the first things I wanted to say when I came on the program tonight is thank goodness that you're addressing this topic, because so much of the rest of the media isn't addressing the issue. I was looking at one of the mainstream medias or newspapers on the train coming down here, and what was their number one big issue on the business area is, well, in the business world, should we be shaking hands or bumping our hands together when we make deals? I mean, that's what the rest of the media is focusing on. Thank goodness that some folks out there, such as yourselves, are addressing something that's going to have tremendous impact upon the taxpayer, if not today, very shortly down the road.
Congressman, what we're talking about again are two companies, $5.3 trillion book of business, right, separate from that $3.3 trillion off the balance sheet. These two essentially acted like Enron-like vehicles for the entire U.S. economy in terms of mortgage finance. I'm wondering, is Congress going to demand that these two show a profit on any bailout money that they get from their misadventure? In other words, what we're doing is we're seeing continued nationalization of bad assets, placing the burden on the shoulders of already overburdened American taxpayers at a time when Social Security and Medicare are headed for a ditch. Again, I'll say it again, it's the economic equivalent of smoking a lit cigarette over a gasoline tank. What's going on with the possible nationalization of these two entities.
Right, and it can all blow up on us, as did the savings and loan. Remember when the savings and loans fiasco came down the pike? At that time, the administration at that time said, we're going to put out a proposal to have the taxpayers be on the hook for only $10 billion. That was their first proposal. That's what came Congress in the first instance. Just a couple of years down the road, that ballooned 20-fold to $200 billion.
Quickly, Congressman, do you think they should be put in receivership and broken up?
Yeah, if we could do anything right now, it would be good to first pass a world-class regulator to put that on the books going forward. After that, yes, we should see a winding down of the GSEs so that the taxpayers in the future can never be put in this awkward position, terrible position.
You know, I'll tell you something, President Ronald Reagan, he warned us about this in his inaugural address in 1981. We have the quote from the President Reagan, and just put it up on the screen. It reads, in this present crisis, and back then, we were in a severe recession. We actually have the soundbite, right? Let's run the soundbite.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the